Hello and welcome back to the Second Chance to Live channel here on YouTube. I'm happy to see that you decided to stop by to watch this video presentation. Thank you. In today's video presentation, I'm going to be sharing an article that I wrote to share the comprehensive history of Second Chance to Live, answering the call that never came. I share this article with you to encourage you to not give up on your process, loving God or yourself, because more is going to be revealed with time. The pieces of the puzzle will come together in the correct order and at the right time. To read the article, I'll put my glasses on and bring up the article. I want to thank you for your time. Here's the article. Comprehensive History of Second Chance to Live, Answering the Call That Never Came. Below is a comprehensive history of Second Chance to Live and my answering the call that never came. I share the below with you to encourage you to not give up on your process and journey in the pursuit of your destiny. Your process and journey of discovering a way to use your gifts, talents, and abilities in ways that will work with you after your brain injury and stroke. More will be revealed as it has been for me by not giving up. Be encouraged, my friend. The struggle is worth the gain. On February 6, 2007, I created a Second Chance to Live. I did so in response to answering the call that never came. Scroll down to read the history of Second Chance to Live. In October 2009, I wrote the article Answering the Call That Never Came. In October 2013, I wrote an article backstory of Second Chance to Live. Below these two articles, I share resources created to answer the call that never came. So I have both of these articles and I'm going to read, and then I'm going to encourage you to come to this article, which I'll put a link in the description, and scroll down and you'll see the different resources that are available, both in video presentation, ebook, a poster, slideshow presentations, and in other formats that you could benefit from if you're interested in learning what's helped me. So here we go. Background to answering the call that never came. 10 years to obtain my undergraduate degree and 3.5 years to obtain my graduate degree as a rehabilitation counselor. As I shared in my series, My Journey Thus Far, I had a long 20-year history of getting and losing jobs, both non-professional and professional jobs, despite my diligent hard work and my best efforts. Answering the call that never came. For many years, I waited for someone, a group, an organization, a church, an employer, or a relationship to recognize my worth and value. I bought into the notion that I had to obtain some type of stamp or validation of approval before my gifts, talents, and abilities could be deemed to be valuable and worthwhile. Sure, I use my gifts, talents, and abilities, but do not feel as though my gifts, talents, and abilities were that significant. Consequently, I spent many years waiting and hoping for the call. When the call to use my gifts, talents, and abilities did not come, I felt inadequate. I felt insignificant. I felt less than the individual who had been recognized and validated for their gifts, talents, and abilities. Consequently, I became discouraged and despondent. Thankfully, with time, my discouragement and despondency motivated me to be open to look for solutions. My discouragement and despondency continued to persist until I became sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. When I reached that point in time in my life, I became willing and motivated to look for solutions. Through being open to look for solutions, I had a spiritual awakening. I realized that the call that I had been waiting for but never came from outside of me was already inside of me. In my awakening, I realized that I no longer needed the approval or validation of an organization, church, employer, or a relationship. Approval or validation to use my gifts, talents, and abilities. Through my awakening and by grieving what I could not change, I realized that I had choices. I realized that I no longer needed to wait for an organization, church, employer, or relationship to value what I considered to be essential. With my realization, I started on a quest to find a way to use my gifts, talents, and abilities to pursue what I valued and considered important. Through my quest, I discovered that I could use my gifts, talents, and abilities through writing and speaking. On February 6th, I started on my journey to encourage, motivate, empower, and share hope through Second Chance to Live. Today's thought. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. What you possess is on the inside of you, your call. Your call, regardless of your disability or limitations, is waiting to be revealed. Be bold and courageous, my friend. Take one step at a time. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Trust the process, trust the loving God, trust yourself and your ability to learn from the process. More will be revealed to you with each day. You will discover how to use your passions. You will live your dreams. And if you have a hard time believing because I believe. And please remember, you do not have to wait to be discovered. You do not have to wait to be validated. You have already been validated. You have already been called to You've already been called to embark on a road less traveled. Here's several quotes that I really like that have been a benefit to me. Insist on yourself. Never imitate your own gift. You can present with every moment with the cumulative force of a whole life's cultivation. But of the adopted talent of another, you only have an extemporaneous half possession. Do that which is assigned to you, and you cannot hope too much or dare too much, by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And another quote, if you advance confidently in the direction of your dreams and endeavor to live the life that you have imagined, you will meet with success unexpected in common hours, by Henry David Thoreau. In October 2013, I wrote an article to share the backstory of my creating Second Chance to Live, to answer the call that never came. So here we go, backstory of Second Chance to Live. I feel led to share this information with you to encourage you to commit to your dreams and your destiny, whatever that entails. For many years, I felt like someone all dressed up with nowhere to go. I felt this way after diligently applying myself to my studies. 10 years to obtain my undergraduate degree and 3.5 years to obtain my graduate degree as a rehabilitation counselor, as I shared earlier. And as I shared earlier, I had a long history of getting both professional and non-professional jobs. Despite my hard work and diligent efforts, work ethic, and focus in both my studies and on job sites. Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. While working as a DVR counselor with the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, I was made a client. The outcome did not result in a suitable job placement. I was then terminated as a client. While in Florida, I applied for SSDI 2 times. However, both of my applications were denied. After being fired from several more jobs in Florida, I was recruited to North Carolina to begin a job as a CRC, a certified rehab counselor in workers' comp rehabilitation. I was fired from this job 4 months later. Following that firing and an unsuccessful job search, I reapplied with the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation here in North Carolina. I also applied for SSDI benefits for the 3rd time. After completing the evaluation and testing process with the North Carolina Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, I was deemed to be unemployable by my counselor and the North Carolina Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. Soon thereafter, my 3rd application for SSDI was approved by the Social Security Administration. I began receiving benefits, I believe, in January 1999. Although I'd been declared unemployable and disabled, I still had a desire to use my gifts, talents, and abilities in a way that I could give to people, the people who wanted what I had to give. Beginning my quest to find a way to give and my computer experience. So this is going to be, I'm going to be sharing about how I began when I decided to create with my ability to write. So I wrote a collection of poems and a series of articles. After receiving some back pay, a friend of mine helped me purchase a computer, and I began to discover the world of dial-up technology. During the next 3 to 4 years, the computer manufacturer rebuilt 2 computers, one piece at a time, through working with first, second, and third tier or third level tier technical support through dial-up, not cable or DSL companies. So it was a very laborious, very time-consuming, and very aggravating experience at times, as you might imagine. With my use of the computer, I started to input poems and articles onto my first computer hard drive, and then re-enter the data of my poems and articles, as well as my autobiography, onto my second computer hard drive. I learned from my experience to store data on external hard drives and to make copies of my poems, autobiography, and articles onto a floppy and CD disk for my second computer from my second computer hard drive experience. Saved me a lot of time from having to re-input my data from the second to the third and then to the fourth computer that I've had since this time, since I began the process. Computer rebuilds and data reentry. As you might imagine, I spent countless hours on and off the phone following the computer manufacturer's technical support recommendations. After 2 rebuilds and much aggravation, I asked some friends if they had a computer they were no longer using. One of my friends gave me an HP computer. I had to reload the operating system or program, which I believe at that time was Windows XP. And this gave me the experience of the process of reloading the operating system, which was laborious but satisfying because of what I learned. So then I was able to reload my data onto that computer that my friend gave me. So several years later, I was able to get a new computer, as the one my friend gave me no longer worked. I had to start the process of reloading the data from the computer given to me to this new one. This involved a significant learning curve too. So the journey began. Over the next 3 years, I continued writing and developing as a writer. Through my process, I wrote an autobiography and then a book, Table Topics for the Soul, Journey to the Heart. I attempted to get my book published with several publishers after registering my book with the Library of Congress. I spent nearly $100 attempting to get my book published without success. I continued to write, and a year or so later, at the encouragement of a friend, I sought to create a weblog. As my friend said, your information would be ripe for a blog. After researching several blogging engines, I decided to create my weblog using WordPress.com to host Second Chance to Live. I created Second Chance to Live 7 years after being told that I was unemployable and began receiving SSDI. When I started to write, as with my book, I was more cerebral, like Data and Star Trek: The Next Generation. As I continued to write, I began to combine the emotive with the cerebral parts of my brain to be able to convey information in a way that many people said, I wish you say things that I wish I were able to say. Consequently, I had comments from readers that told me that I was sharing what they wish they could say as I shared. I share my process with you to encourage you to not give up on your quest to discover how to use your gifts, talents, and abilities. So in this next section, I'm going to be going ahead and explaining what this all involved in terms of time and dedication. Commitment to the process once I created my account on WordPress.com. After deciding on WordPress.com to use as my blogging platform, I spent 60 to 70 hours a week for the next 8 to 12 weeks learning about the world of the blogosphere, writing, publishing, and answering emails and comments. Then for the next 6 months, I spent 50 to 60 hours a week continuing to learn about the blogosphere, write, create, answer emails and comments, and manage my weblog and write letters to send to contacts both domestically and internationally. So it was a laborious process, but I was thrilled to have the opportunity because for so many years, as I shared, I felt like someone all dressed up with nowhere to go because no one seemed to want what I had. And I was getting a response from the folks from my articles that were positive and encouraging, and people were benefiting from what I was doing. So for the next 3 to 4 years, I spent 45 to 50 hours a week. Then for the past 3 years, I spent between 40 and 50 hours a week writing, creating, answering emails and comments, sending email introductions of Second Chance to Live, and learning how to be more effective as a creator, writer, and oral communicator. Transition from WordPress.com to having my own website. 4 to 5 years after hosting my Second Chance to Live on WordPress.com, a friend of mine and a webmaster helped me to move to have my own website or real estate, which I was able to have at secondchancetolive.org, which was birthed at that time and has been going strong for the past 9 to 10 or so years. So lots of house cleaning, so to say, after moving from secondchancetolive.wordpress.com to secondchancetolive.org. After transitioning from secondchancetolive.wordpress.com to my secondchancetolive.org, there was a tremendous amount of time and energy spent setting up Second Chance to Live on the new theme that I had, that a friend helped me to create or helped me to get set up on, with categories, widgets, menus, indexes, and other house cleaning activities that I needed to do to make my website presentable and effectively able to be read and accessed by individuals who had an interest in looking for things around my website on different topics and titles and video presentations. So domestic and international outreach and service. I also sent letters to introduce and share the mission and vision of Second Chance to Live. I did this globally through Australia, throughout Europe, Germany, France, Asia, the Pacific, Iceland, Ireland, Britain, all around the world, other countries not mentioned. But what I have here is I have a link to both domestic and international organizations that are reached and served that you can click on here in the article. So a new format, the beginning of video presentation creation of my articles. On July 29, 2011, with the encouragement of a friend, I created a YouTube channel and started to make video presentations of my articles for people who learn through watching and listening. During the course of the next 80 months, I have written at that time 1,130 articles and created 168 video presentations. Since writing this article and update on July 24th, 2022, I've written 2,020 articles. I created 446 video presentations. I've written 12 ebooks, created 13 keynote presentations, and created 40 inspirational posters. In July 2013, I presented a workshop in Anchorage, Alaska, and then in May in a workshop in Seattle, Washington. In a few weeks, I will be giving a keynote presentation in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I realized that I would not have had the opportunities to do these things or be asked to speak at the conferences if I had not followed my dreams. And as a result, my encouragement to you is that even though the process may take time, and it just took a lot of time from 2007 to 2013 to begin to be recognized and invited to conferences. However, after my conference, attending a conference, there in Albuquerque and then several others, the well of interest seemed to have dried up. I don't know whether that was because of a lack of interest or because of the financial constraints of the way that the economy was, and because of the other factors unrelated that I did not understand that are out of my control. But the good news about it is, as I'll share, is that update July 24th, 2022, in the time since my first workshop in Anchorage, Alaska, I've spoken at other conferences and in different locations. During the past 25 months, I have spoken 82 times with upcoming presentations scheduled through the 13 different keynote presentations I've created. And there's a link here that you can click on, and that'll take you to see where I've spoken and the links to the PDF outlines of the presentations that I give. Today's thought. In my experience, I've come to realize that I can trust the process of loving God and myself. I've come to realize that everything that I considered to be a disappointment and a discouragement and a disillusionment was preparing me to use my gifts, talents, and abilities in ways that would work for me, to pursue what I thought was important, to answer the call that never came. What appeared to be setbacks were actually setups. I share the above details with you for this reason, my friend. You may have also experienced disappointments, disillusionment, discouragement, setbacks, aggravations, and adversities during your lifetime. But my encouragement to you, my friend, is not to give up. Keep moving forward as you pursue your dreams and your destiny. More will be revealed to you and to me, my friend, with time. My encouragement to you, as I need to remember, commit to suiting up and showing up in your life each day. By doing so, you will be amazed at the things that you can and will accomplish because you did not give up on your process of loving God or yourself. You will see what you thought was being used for your harm was in actuality being used for your good. You will see why you needed to learn the lessons that your disappointments, disillusionment, discouragement, and adversity has taught you. You will see how all things have been working together for your good. You will be a blessing to the people who are brought into your life, and you will see that nothing in your development has gone to waste. So to read an in-depth account of my journey and process, please click on this link. So I have another link to the in-depth about page, and that's a detailed bulleted presentation that you can increase the size by using the Control plus up next to your backspace key to increase the font. So this next section of the article I'm not going to be going through because it's more resources, but what I will share is the results of answering the call that never came and the efforts of my backstory. So below is a comprehensive list of resources created since I began answering the call that never came in February 2007. As I said, I've written 2,020 articles. I've created 446 video presentations, written 12 ebooks, created 40 posters, and created 13 keynote presentations, as well as encouraging the use of neuroplasticity for both domestic and international brain injury community. So here I say scroll down and click on the various resources to open these resources. Click on the various links to open these resources. So, and I am serving both the domestic and domestic and international brain injury community. And I have a just to share with you, I do have links here that you can use to translate Second Chance to Live, this particular article, into your language in various different 13 or 14 different languages. This is the end of the presentation. Part of this article is a comprehensive history of Second Chance to Live, answering a call that never came. Again, let me encourage you, please do not give up in your process of loving God or yourself, because more is going to be revealed with time, my friend. The pieces of the puzzle will come together in the correct order and at the right time. I'll say so long for now. Have a great day and be gentle with yourself. Time just takes time, so don't give up. I'll say so long for now. God bless you and your family, and have a great day. Bye now.